of your intent to do so, for it has hands outstretched, ready to connect with you. And from this place of biased in love, let us now receive a message from Kryon, biased in love.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. It's traditional that we often have 4 channelings of the month that somehow relate to each other. A series, if you wish. And this is no exception. One of the things that is happening on this planet now, that we have talked about would take place, is that human nature is actually changing. That's because consciousness is changing. How do you even define human nature? Well, you'd say, well, that's what humans tend to do. It's also responsible for history repeating itself because humans tend to do that. They tend to go to war. They tend to not to be satisfied. They tend to compete for resources. This is human nature. It's changing. And the change is because consciousness is starting to evolve. It's an evolvement then that we're talking about. Not an evolvement of a physical human being, but it's time for an evolvement of a consciousness within the human being. What will that look like? Is it really happening? Oh, it is. You can look around you, in your society, on your planet, on all the things that you get that are reported to you, and you can see it clearly. People are starting to object to things that were always the same and had been for hundreds of years. The things that your grandfather saw and that never changed are now things you are looking at and being a lot more circumspect with your consciousness. Is this correct? Is it not? And so many times you're coming up with, it is not correct, and we're going to change it. So instead of simply complaining about the incorrectness or the dysfunction of the past, or even the present, it is always now followed by action. That's the difference. You're starting to see an evolvement taking place in humanity. So the 4 channelings we're giving this month is, what are the 4 major evolvement areas that you might see? The first one may surprise you, but it's going to be the key to all the others. What is it, dear one, that besets most of humanity? What is it you come in with that you wish you didn't have? What is it that when you finally start looking at yourselves and those grand mirrors that are being given you for self-inspection, for a reflection of who you are, what are you seeing that is difficult to acknowledge? Especially for those of you watching this program who are interested in spiritual things, perhaps, or interested in yourselves, perhaps, or bettering your life. What is it that you look at that perplexes you? Almost universally, you look at yourself and you say, why is it that I don't have more self-worth? Even the one who prances around and looks so important, when they're alone, they know better. That is something that almost all of you are born with. Low self-worth. And the oxymoron of this, the thing that doesn't make any sense about this, is you're born magnificent. We're told you this. You're not born dirty, dear ones. This is a narrative you've been given. And that is part of why that is happening on the planet, that you feel such a low self-worth, that as soon as you come out of the womb, seemingly, all that you hear is not how magnificent you are, but rather it's the opposite. From so many areas, you learn you're nothing and you have to build yourself into something and you'll never be anything unless you do this or that. There's no assumption that you are any different from low going to high. There's nobody who's telling you, welcome to earth, magnificent one. Look what you've come in with. Wow. Can't you hardly wait to grow up and use it? That's not the message, is it? No. The message is that you cannot even talk to God without an interpreter, or the message is you're not even worthy to think about it. That's the message. And almost all of the cultures on the planet have that kind of a message in some form. God is great, and you are not. You come in with lifetime after lifetime after lifetime of that message being given to you, trying hard to be worthy, and of course not making it. Dear ones, it's time to shift that perception. The evolvement of the human being is one you're going to start seeing where the human understands they are magnificent. And it starts to change who they are. Not in an egotistical way. Magnificence is wisdom. It's mastery. Magnificence is compassion. That's magnificent. And that is what we have been talking about now for over 33 years. The human being comes in with divinity. And it's the task for you to find it. Well, an evolving humanity is finding it. Universally, let me tell you something that I will echo in every channel. This is not for a selected few. This is not for the religious. This is not for those who are only thinking about spiritual things and trying to help themselves in this way. This is for every single human being. They're feeling it. The earth is starting to awaken to a little more compassion. They're starting to realize, well, maybe they're not dirty at all. Maybe there's wisdom. Maybe they deserve things. Maybe there's a birthright involved that they never even thought about. The birthright of peace on earth, of living together. There's something else dysfunctional. You've always been told the more humans are on the planet, the worse it's going to get. The more bad ones will be there. What if it were the opposite? What if the more there are, the more collective consciousness understands that they're beautiful? That there is a collective consciousness that occurs because of a number of humans that says, wow, we know who we are. And it's not dirty ones. It's magnificent ones. We can do this. And they start to come together collectively, and the leadership starts to change and understand it. And they say to their leadership, we want peace between nations. That's number one. So our children will have a good time and a chance on this planet to have perhaps what our children did not, or our grandfathers did not. That's an evolving humanity, and it starts with self-worth. You're going to hear this message from me many times. And you may think you've heard it before. But each time I give a channeling, I give it in a newer energy than before. That often means there have been other doors opened that now I can speak of because you can see them. It's one thing to arrive 33 years ago and tell you you're not going to have World War III, even though all your prophecies say you are. When I told you, though, not to fear the year 2000, when you were told the Armageddon was here. And all of that fell on ears that said, no way. No, we know better, because for years our prophets have been telling us this and this and this. Now you sit in this particular year, 2023, and none of those things happened. And instead, you get an awakening planet That is a prophecy you have to look for. It's been given by many of the indigenous as they looked at the times that you were in. They looked at the layers and the phases, the cycles that happen. And this is the cycle that was predicted, the evolution cycle. Dear ones, you sit in a magnificent time of opportunity, of awakening, of love. I want you to understand that and feel that instead of what you think is coming or what you've been told is coming. You are in control of all of it in a way you never were before. In a way you never were before. That's the empowered human being on the planet. I'm crying in love with you all for good reason. And so it is.
And following that beautiful message from Kryon, I invite you to open your eyes if you've had your eyes closed. And this next part of the program, we have a special guest joining us, another channel by the name of Sarah Landon, and I'm super excited. Many people have been asking her to be on the show, and finally she is joining us, and I want to make sure she's on the Zoom feed with us. Sarah, are you there?
Yes. Hello, Monica. Hello, Lee, and the community. I am here. I am so excited to be with you today.
Oh my goodness, not as excited as we are. And we want to tell everyone about you who may not have heard of you, as amazing as that could be.
I get excited to have a world-class channeler on my show and your show and our show. Sarah Landon is a globally celebrated transformational leader, spiritual teacher, and channel of the Council. She has been called a leader of leaders for the next generation of teachers, way-showers, channels, coaches, and guides who are contributing to raising the consciousness and vibration of our planet at this time. She's the author of the best-selling book, The Wisdom of the Council, and her newest book, The Dream, The Journey, Eternity and God, Channeled Answers to Life's Deepest Questions, features the New York best-selling author, Mike Dooley.
With over 3.5 million YouTube views, Sarah's life-changing wisdom and teachings are accessible to all who are ready to awaken to being a powerful creator of their experience. Passionate about living her highest potential, Sarah shines a light on the path for others that want to expand beyond the perceived limitations of the human experience and to be able to live as the realized masters that they are.
As the voice of the Council, Sarah's intention is to be the purest channel of their wisdom and teachings, which offer a grander perspective of what is possible for each of us and our beloved human family as we elevate our consciousness to new levels. That's exactly what we teach. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It truly is a full circle moment for me to be here with you. When I started channeling, I really had no idea what I was experiencing besides the most incredible, loving energy and the most profound wisdom. And many people that I deeply respected recommended that I check out Kryon and Lee Carroll. And I remember the very first time I heard you, Lee, and the very first time I heard Kryon, I felt like I was home, like someone else understood the wisdom that I was receiving that wasn't mainstream as it is now. And I could not have imagined at that time, come full circle, that I would be sitting here talking with you and Monica. So this is just such a blessing and a dream come true for me. So thank you for inviting me.
Oh, that is great. Thank you.
When you said home,
Yeah.
I got chills because it was that exact same energy that anyone who taps into that frequency and vibration of what you are delivering, what Lee is delivering, what all the other channels are delivering, it is that love wash.
Yeah.
It is that home. So how did you first experience that?
Well, I know we only have about 3 hours, so I'll give you the short version here. Just kidding. I know we don't have much time, but Long story short, I was very spiritual as a child. I always had this awareness that there was more. I was seeking to understand and very curious. But in my early 20s, late teens, I got very involved in personal development and human potential and achievement. And I started in the corporate world. And out of the blue, a life-changing awakening experience occurred when my brother died in a car accident. He died instantly. It's the first time I had experienced that in my life. And I flew to Alaska. I was living in Seattle at the time. I flew to Alaska, and my family and I walked into the viewing. And it was a very cold November day, not to mention just the heavy, incredible emotions that everyone was feeling. I walked up to my brother's body and had never seen a dead body. I was overwhelmed, to say the least. I went and sat down on a chair in the room, and I could feel the heaviness, the coldness of the room. And I sat there for a few minutes, and all of a sudden, this energy just started from the top of my head and flowed through my entire body. And I can only describe it as liquid love just flowing through my whole body. I was warm. I could feel this warmth all around me. I was completely and totally in peace. And I heard my brother say, "I'm still here, but I'm not in there." And I could feel the reference to the side of the room that his body was in. And he said, "I'm just as here as I ever was. I just left the density of the body, and I'm at a rate of vibration that you can't interpret with your physical senses." And these were not words that I was familiar with at that point in time. And I just felt surrounded in love. I asked him a few more questions. And after a while, that energy receded, and I was back in that cold, heavy room, but I was still very much in peace. And if it would have been anything else, I probably would have just blown it off and said, I made it up. But I couldn't deny the feeling of love that I felt and the peace that I felt. And so spontaneously, for several months and years after that, my brother would appear. I would feel his energy. He would come through with a message, but I was very much in my corporate life. I then, in the height of my corporate career, when we had just sold our company, I was traveling the world, I would start waking up in the middle of the night. And I guess back up just a little, I had these questions that no one could answer for me. I had studied religions, I had studied psychology, I had studied metaphysics. I had these questions about how do we live our highest potential? Why are we really here? What is our purpose? How do we live it? What's really possible? How do we go beyond limitation? Much of which was inspired by things that I had read or learned as a child, but I had greater questions, or a younger person, I guess I would say. And so much to my surprise, I started waking up in the middle of the night in that same energy and vibration. And these answers started coming through me. I now know that process to be automatic writing, and we all can do it. We all can tune into that. And so I would get up in the morning and I would read what I had written and knew clearly it had come through me. Wasn't answers that I knew, but it was like I was remembering. So then fast forward a few more years, I had a spontaneous meeting of a woman who was a QHHT practitioner trained by Dolores Cannon for quantum healing hypnosis technique. And she said, I help people get in touch with their higher self. And I said, well, I think I need to talk to you. So I scheduled a session with her. And after some time of this communication with the higher self and what does my soul want me to know, this energy came forth beyond any love I had ever felt in my entire life. And all of a sudden, my voice changed. The cadence of my voice changed. The sound of my voice changed. I started speaking very fast. And she went on to ask questions to what we now refer to as the council for somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour. And when the energy receded, I was back. I was aware of what had happened, but I experienced it from such a higher level of awareness that I couldn't remember everything. Luckily, it was recorded. And I listened back. I had it transcribed, and I realized this was the most incredible wisdom. And I just wanted more and more and more of it. So she and I kept meeting weekly, multiple times a week for almost a year, and writing questions down, bringing them to the council, asking those questions. She would ask them, I would channel the council. At the time, I swore no one is ever going to hear me channel, let alone see me channel, which you get to do here shortly. And that was the beginning of the council. Now, from there, my experience truly has just transformed beyond my wildest dreams. We have a global community of people all over the world. We do courses. I've written 2 best-selling books with Hay House. We have several more on the way. It's just been the most extraordinary experience. However, I will tell you, the very, very best part of the council's wisdom is living it, and how it has changed my life and how I see it creating a better world all around me. And their messages are so complementary to everything that you both bring through, that Kryon brings through, the energy of pure love, the possibility of us living in really a dimension of consciousness within ourselves and within communities and within this world that truly elevates the vibration, the consciousness, and the light on this planet, so all beings can live in abundance, peace, harmony, joy, freedom. I absolutely know without a doubt in my mind that it's possible for anyone who chooses it. And as each one of us choose it for ourselves and create that world within ourselves, we are literally raising the consciousness and the energy on this planet such that I truly believe that this shift into pure love is absolutely inevitable. It is why we are here. It is why we chose to come. And that being said, that doesn't mean you have a job and you're responsible for everyone else. It doesn't mean that you have to heal and awaken and fix everyone. It means to come into your own awakening experience, your own realization of the truth of who you are and the potential and the possibility that's here for you to create and live your best life. And in that, you will inspire others to find that higher potential within themselves and live it for themselves too.
I think one of the difficult things when we start learning about this incredible pure love that is there, as humans, we are living out programs that we inherit. And those programs have very low consciousness thinking, such as separation from each other, such as judgment. Judgment is this really big thing in humanity where we look around and we see things and we judge them. Sometimes that's really hard for people to move into a place where everything is all love, it's all good, it's all peace, and yet not be in judgment. So what wisdom does the council share with you about the subject of judgment?
One of the things they say is it's really difficult until it's not. And so they talk about different dimensions of consciousness, and they say there is no hierarchy. It is not a better than because you're in higher levels of consciousness. It's a ready for higher levels of consciousness. So they talk about the third dimension, very much what you said, Monica, that dimension of separation where there's lack, limitation, fear, separation. From there, you begin to wake up. You step into the fourth dimension of what they refer to as transformation, where you can fix yourself, you can heal yourself. You're not your circumstances and conditions. You can change your life, you can change your body, you can change your story, those types of things. And they say one of the things that keeps people stuck in the fourth dimension of transformation for years, decades, lifetimes is judgment. And most of all, judgment about ourselves. And we don't realize that it's a habit to judge others, to just automatically respond with, oh, that's awful, or oh, that's terrible, or oh, I can't believe they did that. But I find for me, the ultimate practice has been judgment of myself. And it's sneaky, right? So when you're in this fourth dimension of transformation, anytime something happens, you're going, oh, You're taking this responsibility. What did I do wrong? How did I create this? What's going on in my emotional layer that needs to be healed and fixed? And it entangles us with constantly judging ourselves. And it is truly a simple shift to loving yourself. And one of the greatest achievements we can ever realize in our human experience is our own self-love, where if you don't feel good in your body, your first step is love for yourself, to love yourself, to slow down, to rest, to get quiet, to ask your body what it needs, to tell your body that you love it, to truly feel love within and all around and for your body, for yourself. And it's a practice until it becomes a way of being. It's really easy to love others when you love yourself. It's really easy to let others be where they are when you are empowered within yourself to be who you want to be. It's really easy to accept others and approve of where they are, or let them be where they are, or love them when they are, when you accept and love yourself. So it truly is an inner journey, and it's a practice until it becomes your way of being. And from there, it just continues to expand and expand and expand. Through living the council's teachings, I've just come into this level of love that I can be walking out in nature, or just with people that I love, or even a perfect stranger, and just watching them with love in my heart, and just tears stream down my face. And I really didn't think my heart could open anymore. And 2 weeks ago, I got a puppy. And I literally find myself just watching her, and there's tears just streaming down my face because she is pure innocence. And so many times I hear her say to not just me, but when other people look at her and just, oh my gosh, she's just so precious. She's just so beautiful. She's just so pure and innocent and joyful. I can literally hear her say, I'm here to show you who you are. I'm here to reflect to you who you really are. So she's a powerful teacher, even though she's 9 weeks older.
Wow.
Absolutely. And that's why I think it's so important, even if you don't have a puppy, or maybe kittens are more your thing. There are so many clips on YouTube watching someone else's puppy or kitten if you can't have it for yourself. And there's this energy that Sarah described beautifully. But before we get to the end of our conversation, I would love to have you share with us the council.
Oh, I would absolutely love it. How much time do we have left, Monica, just so we can make that a bit?
I think she can go for 10 minutes or so.
Would be perfect.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm just going to close my eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. The council will come in. And I don't know if they'll go the whole 10 minutes, or they might ask you if you have some questions, but you'll notice that my voice changes a little. My eyes are closed. If it feels good for you to do so, you can close your eyes as well and just really feel for this vibration. So here we go. We are so pleased and delighted to have the opportunity to speak with you all on this fine and glorious day indeed. And we tell you that our words to you are important, but this is a vibrational experience of remembering the truth of who you really are and why you are here, and all that you intended when you chose this magnificent life experience, because your life is truly meant to be an extraordinary existence. You are here on this planet at the greatest time that has ever occurred in human history, during the greatest transformation of human consciousness into pure love. And you, every single one of you listening to this, are leaders, way showers, pioneers, and trailblazers into pure love. There are dimensions of consciousness that you have existed in, and there are dimensions of consciousness that are available to you now, easier and more effortlessly than ever before. We invite you into the fifth dimension of pure love, where your well-being and your abundance is assured. where what you want and need comes to you even before you know you need it. You live in harmony with life, following the energy, allowing light to guide the way, where you truly experience more beauty, more joy, more love, more freedom than ever before. It is your very destiny to step into fully living in what you might refer to as the new earth, heaven on earth, or as we refer to it, the fifth dimension of pure love. There is something within you that knows that you are here for an important reason, and indeed you are. Your life matters. You are here to live fully. You are here to love fully. You are here to be all that you are. Our most important teaching of all is this: you are everything you wish to be. You already are. You are everything you wish to be. You already are. It is all within you. It always will be. Do you have questions for us?
Yes. I would like to know how we can dissolve the barriers that get in the way of receiving even more love for ourselves.
Such a good question. First, it's important to know that you're the one that put the barriers there to try to keep yourself safe and protect yourself. When you came from pure love into this experience and then found yourself consciously or unconsciously in lower levels of vibration or lower dimensions of consciousness, you started to experience separation, lack, limitation. Others were out there and you were in here. God's source is out there and you are in here. And depending on the emotional experiences you had, you started to put up barriers to try to protect yourself. But all it did is keep you from shining your light and being the love that you are. When you step into truly loving yourself, coming into that state of pure love within yourself, finding joy and peace and harmony within yourself, knowing abundance and well-being is always available to you, knowing that it is your light that guides you and protects you. There's really nothing you need to be protected from when you are truly aligned to all that you are. But the only thing that can ever protect you is your own light. Allowing your own light. Many hear us say, allow, receive, and we'll make it very simple for you. You will know that you are allowing because the instant manifestation of allowing is joy. When you are doing the things that bring you joy, when you're focused on what you enjoy, when you're feeling joy, you are allowing. If you want to understand how to get into a state of allowing, focus yourself into a state of joy, and you will be allowing. Many hear us say, receive, open and receive, receive. The instant manifestation of receiving is expansion. When you're feeling into that state of expansion, you know you're receiving. In order to expand, you must receive. So to break down those barriers to the love that you are, allow and receive, open up and allow joy, allow yourself to do the things that bring you joy. Open up and receive and expand into all that you are. Every single one of you is so much more than you've ever allowed yourself to be. If you really allowed the expansion of all that you are, truly, you would spend each day moved to such deep levels of pure love and beauty and joy and happiness. However, the greatest challenge for humans is believing you are worthy, of that joy, that love, that abundance, that well-being that is your divine, inherent birthright. One of the other reasons you put up walls is because it's so difficult to see others in such abundance and joy and freedom and happiness and well-being and prosperity, believing it's not possible for you. But nothing, dear Master, could be farther from the truth. There's nothing you could ever do here to deserve all that you are. And there's nothing that could ever happen on this planet or in your life that could threaten your worthiness. There is no need to carry guilt or shame for anything ever. You are a divine, inherent being of pure love. That is the truth of who you are. You are worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy of the joy and the love and the beauty and the abundance and the well-being that is the truth of who you are. And when we say you are everything you wish to be, you already are. It is all within you. What we speak of is that joy, that love, that beauty, that abundance, that freedom, that harmony, that peace that is the truth of you. And you will look around and you will realize there are no more barriers anymore. There is only love. Did we answer your question?
Beautifully, indeed. And if someone is experiencing grief or intense sadness on the planet right now, what is the best way they can move through that to find their place of joy?
Indeed. When we say that the heaviest, densest human emotions are shame and grief, and we certainly understand why you would feel grief, especially in the loss of someone or something that you dearly love. But we tell you that grief, if you really take a moment and observe it, you could not feel grief without love. We use the example of a mother or a father or a parent who has lost a child and feeling intense, indescribable grief. And yet beneath that is truly love. In order for one to move out of shame or grief, it is helpful to understand two things. Number one, you suffering in grief and guilt and heavy, dense emotions, and we say this gently, does not prove your love for that being. That being knows inevitably, eternally, the love between the two of you. That being does not want you to suffer in grief to prove your love to them. Your loved one, if they have transitioned, whether a human or an animal, or even the devastation of a particular area or tragedy that has happened on your planet, understand that there is always a grander perspective. And while you may not see that there's any gift in it in this moment, if you can allow yourself in this moment to come into a place of peace and just feel a little bit better, you will begin to open to the gifts and a greater perspective. In the moment, if you will accept what is, accept just what is in this moment, the instant manifestation is peace. If you can accept just what is in this moment, you will feel a sense of peace. We understand that most in their moments of deep grief and suffering cannot imagine any gift in that situation at that moment. That is merely because you're holding yourself in such density that you are as far from allowing and receiving, and as far from the love that is the truth, and as far from the vibration and the consciousness of the person that has, or being that has transitioned, that you aren't able to allow a grander perspective in any way. So when someone is in terrible grief because of the loss of something, they are literally holding themselves as far apart as they can possibly get from the consciousness, the love, the vibration of that being that has transitioned. The more you move out of grief into acceptance, into peace, and feeling a little bit better, you will start to feel less of a separation between you and that which you are grieving over. As you allow yourself into a grander perspective, is it possible that there's a gift in this? We give an example of a particular friend who lost her beloved son in an unexpected transition at a very young age. She came to us in incredible guilt, incredible grief, unable to let it go because that would mean letting her beloved son go. And yet, over time, from her journey to acceptance, to peace, to feeling joy again, to love, to connecting to him where he is now, experiencing more love where he is now, and the presence of him everywhere all the time. She is now bringing forth messages to other bereaved parents so that they too know that their child is always with them. We would call that a gift.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. We are
beautiful,
complete.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, if you enjoyed those beautiful messages from Sarah, I encourage you to look at her YouTube channels, and her website is sarahlandon.com. Again, thank you so much, Sarah. We're at the end of our conversation, but it's still holding this beautiful energy that you created. So any kind of parting words before we say goodbye?
Oh, thank you, Monica, and thank you, Lee, and your team, and thank you for letting me come and be part of this beautiful gathering and co-creation today. I feel so grateful. Thank you for what you are doing on this planet and to your community. I know every single one of you are these beings that care so deeply for others, for the planet, for living this wisdom, and just love yourself. The theme of this today, and I think what is, in my opinion, the most powerful healing tool of all is love, really loving yourself. I know in my own experience, I can look at different experiences where people have healed, and it all comes back to love. So not the kind of love that sometimes we think of, but that pure love, that pure love. And most importantly, love for yourself, because as we talked about earlier, when you love yourself, it really is easier to love everyone else. It just becomes your way of being. So every single person, you matter, your life matters, you're here for a reason. And as the council said, live fully, love fully, and be all that you are.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we are now going to take a break. And again, the energy that Sarah shared is still with me. Take that with you as you take 10 minutes and perhaps just sit and love yourself until we come back for the circle of 12.